Right campers, welcome back. So today is the second part to this electrical installation video. Obviously the main primary goal is to get the split charge all in and all done. However, we are going to be fitting the battery charger and the 240 socket, etc., and a couple of other little things under the driver's seat. So it's going to be a little bit more in depth than just the split charge, but we're going to get those in, we're going to get the job done, and hopefully it goes well and it finishes nice. So thanks for coming back. Hit that like button and let's get started. Okay, so now I'm just mocking things up. I'm just lining up the battery, looking and trying to decide where I want to put it, how I'm going to mount it, what I'm going to do. What I've just done is I've just been up B&Q for those guys who are in the UK and bought myself some angle steel. We're going to use that and we're going to put it across the seat base and we're going to make a little frame for the battery to sit in. And then I'll use probably ratchet straps around the battery to hold it in. It's kind of the most practical, cheap and cheerful way. I mean, there is a lot of ways you could do this. Looking at the battery, obviously guys, I had the uprated battery. It doesn't come with the kit, so the standard kit comes with a smaller battery than this. The battery that I've got, this is still a low level battery, so it'll still fit under this seat. So what we're going to do now is we will have a look at mounting it and moving on to the next part. Okay, so looking, I think the best case scenario for me is to cut this angle and put it in here, butting up against here and here, because these are level either side, and then similar to the front, but I'll adjust the size I need for the battery to sit in. If you remember this support here is what the module bolts to, so the central locking, there was a little frame that went in, so we're going to relocate that, but I'm actually going to take this lip off now. Now you can heat it up and panel beat it in and fold it in if you want, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill out the couple of spot rivets at the top, drill out the couple at the bottom and take that off properly. There's probably some on the side as well actually here. Take that off and then that'll open this all up. So this is what it's looking like with a box section either side. So if it button up at the back there, that'll give me enough room to put the battery charger in there like that, because a lot of people flat this support bracket down and then bring the battery right back, but I don't want to do that because you are potentially compromising the integrity or the strength of that bracket, and also I want the room behind. So, and at the front it's nearly as far forward as this bracket. It is a little bit further back, so I'm quite happy with that. I just thought I'd show you where I'm at. This is everything that has got to be fitted underneath the seat base. I went up to B&Q and bought one length of this, which you already saw, but I've actually been and bought a second length, so that I think they're £7.30 each, so they're not much money. So two lengths of that, and I bought two ratchet straps. Now these was £4 something from B&Q, a little bit expensive. You can get these cheaper elsewhere, but because I was there I was just convenience buying, plus with coronavirus I wanted to be out as minimal as possible. So this is what I'm looking at. As you can see at the back there, I've bolted some angle steel to the back. I've slightly lineaged it away here so it can pull it up closer, and I've countersunk. I've drilled 3 holes and countersunk them, so I'm going to screw a wooden board to the back or to the front of here to close this gap up, which I will carpet. But also I'm going to fit this and the plug socket down here so they're accessible. Now here I'm putting this right up against that. As I've already mentioned, I'm not lineaging this out, I'm actually going to use this space behind. So I've gone right the way up, and you can weld this or pop rivet this on if you wanted, but for me I'm actually going to weld it because I've got friends who've got welders and stuff and I can weld a little bit, so I'm going to weld that myself, but you don't have to. Front one here doesn't quite go as far as that lip, it probably goes, it is marked, it's probably about there, and I have checked you can lift the battery in and out, so I'm going to weld these in place. Yet again, 3 holes on that one, which are countersunk. 3 holes on this one, which are countersunk as well. Now, I probably won't use these, but I've put them there so that I've got them in the future. So if I decide to screw any wood to this or anything like that, in fact, I've actually countersunk these the wrong way. They need to be countersunk from the back because the screws would go that way. Small mistake, however, doesn't matter. These are all going to get powder coated. This whole base is going to get powder coated as soon as I'm done anyway. So I've countersunk them slightly bigger than I need to allow for powder coat. Now I've got to start thinking how I'm going to fit all this under there, how I'm going to mount it, where I'm going to mount it, and what we're going to use. So let's get started. Okay guys, so this is what I've got so far. This is the board that I'm making at the moment to go inside the back of there. Now, this is just how I'm doing it. You don't have to do it this way. There's multiple ways you can do it. I've seen so many different styles, so many different methods. It's kind of a personal choice. I'm choosing to mount the battery charger and the 240 volt socket at the back so it's accessible, so I can get to it at the back, although you don't really need to, but if I want to or need to I can then switch that off. And also there's 2 buttons on here that I can now access, and I can see all the LEDs, I can see all the lighting. It's not hidden under the seat. I haven't got to kind of pull the seat forward and backwards to access anything and just to monitor and watch what's going on. But also I don't really want them on show too much, because we all know someone will walk past and be like, oh look, there's a flux capacitor under the seat, we need to break in and steal that. So I've come up with a method where I'm going to put this over there like that, so it will cover, so you'll only have the faces. You'll only have the faces on show like that. But then I'm also going to do like a drop down hinge door on this, kind of like an opening, so that when I want it completely covered, I just put the door up, put the latch on, done. And then when I want to access these or monitor what's going on, I can drop it down and it covers it from any potential opportunists, kind of theft, kind of a deal. So I've got my mascot with me. Excuse the light again, but struggling at the moment. They will be at the back, and then the battery, and then at the front will be, I'm not sure on the fuses just yet, but there'll be the split charge relay, and there'll obviously be the central locking. Now I'm going to probably cover the front up as well, because I don't really want, even the top, I'm probably going to board the top, just because I don't really want, when the seat's like on, I don't want to be able to see inside. I think it doesn't look the best, so I'm going to cover it all up. I'll build this up now, and then I'll show you an idea of what I've been thinking inside. So with regards to this is just simply, I just made a template to fit that, cut it out, you know, that's quite simple. I've packed it out there because I've put a rail across the bottom there, look. Obviously guys, all the metal here will be powder coated, but obviously in the current climate of coronavirus, obviously we're not going out. So at the moment I'm going to paint the wood, I'm going to sand it all down, probably off camera, smooth it all out, and I'm going to paint the wood. I've had to route a bit out there for this socket, what sits on here, but I'm going to paint all the wood so it's nice and black. Even though I'm going to wrap it, I still want it nice and black underneath, and I'm rounding and beveling all the edges off so that it's smooth. This here, I've done this so that I can bring the wire in, and the wire out of the battery charger can go straight down, and then I can sit that right up close, so that works really well. Now this is just a bit of wood that I found in the garage. I've chiseled out 2 areas here where the ratchet strap, because it's going to sit right up against the frame under here, there, because it's going to sit right up against it. I didn't want the ratchet strap to be like under, like pushing pressure on this or anything. I didn't want to go around the 2, so I've actually made an area where the ratchet straps can come up now, and then onto this, because then the directional force is over the battery. So it's just a nice little bit of attention to detail. Enough of that, I'll build this up now. Okay, so 4th attempt to try and film this. I've had to compromise to try and get rid of the light. This is 1st attempt. This is the kind of thing I'm thinking. I feel that the wood's a bit thick. I didn't really want to use wood, but it is the best scenario really. I'm gonna have to either sculpt this out here for the plug or that side. I mean, I could put this over here, but I kind of want these accessible at the back. I mean, I'm gonna keep trying. I haven't given up yet. Sunblocker Mark IV it's in full strength. I mean, I could just move the van and turn it round, but I've got to connect the battery and everything for that. This is south facing, so it's just, obviously the sun's starting here as well and coming round throughout the day, so never mind, staying positive. I've got the pop top up, look, give me a bit of headroom for once. This is what I'm making. So what you do is, when you're building something like this, you try it as you're going along, but then you do the final mock-up. Bolt everything on, make sure everything fits, make sure everything goes in, connect it all up as if you're going to connect it like live, and then take it all back out and then send things for powder coat or paint, you know, the wood and things like that. You can leave it like that, but I'm going to paint it. So I've used some nice little clips as well to keep the wiring, you know, away from rubbing and things like that. So I'll put it in now and I'll show you what it's going to look like. So this is it kind of in. That's going to be how it's going to sit, like that. As I've mentioned, I'm going to hide it, so this will go over like so, wrapped in leather, the same leather as what I'm wrapping most of the other stuff. So that part's bottom of the dash, same leather, so that'll get wrapped in the leather, and then I can still access all the LEDs, access the 2 switches on the charger, and I can access the 240 switch there to turn it on and off. Not that you really need to, but I just didn't really want it all under the seat, not accessible. It's just my preference. Now I'll have the drop down opening on that, as I've mentioned, or I might cut something like that up and do that, but I'm not sure yet. But for the purpose of this video, let's move on. You can see around the back here, obviously this frame is up against where we mentioned originally, and then that will be welded in. It's not yet because obviously the corona lockdown, I haven't gone to my friends to weld it. I've got the 2 recesses here that I have chiseled out so the ratchet strap can come up here and it's not getting caught, and also I routed that out there so the wire can sit in there flush and it won't hit or rub on the battery at all, and then it just goes coiled up down here because that's the wire that only goes to that plug. So I've got an area down there for all the excess to sit in. So what I'll do now is I'll put the battery in and then I'll show you that. I'll show you how it's looking and then we can move on from that. So this is the sort of thing that I mentioned with the ratchet straps. Obviously I've got a little those chiseled out areas there working really well, because then that'll come over to the top of the battery like that and go that way. So they're not fouling, they're not rubbing. That's quite good, I'm really happy with that. So now we'll get the battery in and go from there. Okay, so this is where we're at. Now please bear in mind that I'm going to cut the length off these, and the terminals are just kind of pushed to where they will go because they're not going to be hooked up completely. I'm going to be taking all this back out after this video because obviously I want to do things. I've got to do a bit of welding, I've got to get the powder coating done, I want to paint the wood black. Right, so now we need to move on, and we're at the front. We need to mount the relay and we need to mount this. So I've kind of got a rough idea, but I'll do that now and then I'll load you back up and explain what I've done and why. So this is where we're at. Obviously you've seen all the back already. There's a lip here. I'm going to take the live behind the lip. I'm going to cable tie it here. I'm going to put this bit of cable in a bit of fuel hose. I'm going to cable tie it here, and then down here I'm going to pop rivet it to this actual seat base. I'm not sure how well you can see that. I've tried to get rid of the light that much. You can't even see. I've put the split charge relay on that there. I've tried to, basically the frame that we're putting in, which the battery sits on, I've tried to mount as many things off that as possible. When that's on there, the wire for the relay doesn't touch anything. It's got a nice shape to it. Obviously guys, the wire that we bought up through the carpet here, the one that we installed on the first video, that is this wire. Obviously that's got to go into the split charge itself. The good thing about this frame sitting on top of this frame, it's risen up off the floor, so you can get all these cables underneath come through the bottom of the carpet and they don't get caught. I've got the original bracket, which the central lock-in went in on the seat here. I've cut this corner off here, look. There's a 10mm nut there. So there was a 10mm nut, same as this one, but I've cut that one off, so that's how you can reference which part I've cut off. So the reason why I've cut that part off and left that tab is so that it goes in there, look, sits inside the seat. Well, there was a bit of a lip. Now I was going to bolt it. I originally oversized that hole and I was going to bolt it to the seat mount there, but I've decided that that's going to be my earth, because my earth strap's here. The earth strap is going to come inside this lip here, which I showed you that side, doing the same inside fuel hose running along here. I'm also going to P-clip it to this base itself, and then it will run down into that earth, and you can see there's actually a nice well. So sorry guys, this is so difficult one-handed. This rolled lip here, look, there, that's factory cut out. It actually allows the cable to come underneath that really nicely. So what I'm going to do is, that will be my earth point. I'm going to clean up all the threads. I'm going to take the bolt out the body, and I'm going to run a thread restorer up and down it to clean all the threads to make sure the connection and the terminal is absolutely spot on, so it makes the best earth possible. Also guys, there's actually a VW earth there. Can you see it? I've cut the carpet around it here. This sits underneath the carpet exactly where it is now, and it's a proper VW earth point. It's too small to actually run the leisure battery off just that earth, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to earth it off this point here, off the mount for the seat, but I'm also going to make my own earth wire up as thick as this, and I'm going to run an earth from here to here and kind of double up the earth if you like. So I've got two earth points to the body, just to make it as best as I can really. So that's why I've cut the carpet away there. As you can see, all these run up here, look, not touching, not caught or anything like that, so that works really well. I'll put that on and I'll show you kind of what I mean, how it's going to sit, because now I'm not going to use that there. I'm actually just going to bolt this little bracket straight to the body, because there's room underneath here. There's a bit of flexibility, so I can have the head of a bolt sitting under there. It won't crush anything or affect anything, and then I can just bolt that to that, and it actually tucks it up quite nice. So I'll show you that now. This is how it's going to sit. Obviously I'm having to hold it up for now, just because obviously it's not going to hold itself. But there you go. That's kind of how it will sit, like that. Nice and square, nice and upright. It looks like it will, but it won't affect the ratchet strap usability at all. And if it did, you can unbolt that bolt quickly, move it out the way, strap the battery down, and then just put it in after. It's no problem at all. And that's pretty much kind of everything that I want to put under here for now. Obviously guys, there's more to wire up. So, you know, I've plugged this into here. Sorry about the light. I've plugged this into here, but it's actually not plugged. There's no wire going into it. That goes to the consumer unit. Now, I'm going to come through here, I think, and I'm going to grommet this and allow an entry point for the bigger cables. The reason why I put this bar here as well is not just to pack it out for this cover there. It's not just that, although it does that job, it also allows me to put P-clips inside here to sit all the wiring in proper trunking and do a real nice job, because we've got wires like this to come in, which go to the inverter, which, if you remember the inverter guys, that was what I bought extra with the kit from Rain Automotive. One other point about Rain Automotive guys, they actually put, it's kind of a dummies guide if you like, but they put stickers on everything, so that if you think, oh, I wonder where that goes, you've got everything labelled, you know where everything goes. This has got to come through as well, this live, but I'm going to put this, the cupboard will be here. So inside the cupboard I'm going to have that fuse box, I'm going to have the inverter accessible so I can plug into it, and I'm probably going to have the consumer unit. So those wires have got to come in, but that'll probably have to be another video, because obviously trying to get this video out, because there is people who are doing this job as I'm doing it, and they're looking for my update, the next thing to do to move them forward. So I'm kind of not rushing this video out, because I'd like to think it's still got decent facts and decent information in it. However, I am going to sacrifice finishing it totally in order to get this video out. Let me know what you think in the comments box below, if you're that interested, do you want to see it all, or whether you just want me to skip it and move on, because obviously we're in difficult times, guys, so we could be like this. I might not get this powder coated for the foreseeable future, really. Let's move on. Okay guys, so I'm going to end this video here. Actually, if you've been around for a while, if you've been a subscriber for a while, you'll remember when I used to vlog and started the camper conversion on this concrete pad after I put it in, before this garage was erected. Then you would have seen the garage erected. Now you're seeing inside. There's a lot of work to do, because I was going away, I just dumped a lot of stuff in here, but it's kind of, this summer I'm going to do, I might do a vlog on it. If you guys want me to do a bit of a series on it, let me know in the comments box below, because I might do like a step-by-step kind of garage series where I show you me painting it, insulating it, being quite creative, because it's concrete. I'm gonna have to be quite creative to create shelving and things like that, doing that. So if you want to see that, let me know. Also, when the bus videos are finished, the conversion's done, I'm going to start a full restoration on my original 2 owners from new 50,000 miles Vauxhall Chevette saloon. So I'm going to do a full ground up to the bare shell, send the shell off media blasted kind of deal, do a full restoration, engine build, box build, the lot, completely restore it back to original, completely painting it. Every single job I'll be doing myself, the same as the camper. If you're interested in that, let me know, because I'm thinking of doing a series, like I said, next on that. Got the spare wheel, I sent it off, had it powder coated, just to confirm I like the colour. This is a very light bronze, so within the next video or two, all the wheels on the bus will be getting sent off and powder coated at Project Powder Coating, and they'll be doing it in this bronze because I think it looks really good, so look forward to that. Stay safe, obviously, with the current situation, guys. Stay at home unless you're an essential worker or unless you need to be going out. Keep everyone safe, keep everyone tight, look after yourselves, and I'll see. Thanks for coming back, and I'll see you guys, and don't forget, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.